I was ordained with a class of 70 rabbis, and I and one other, I recently discovered, who's soon to retire, we're the only ones left where we started. And people ask me, why have you stayed at Wilshire so long? You just saw a perfect demonstration of one of the reasons I love our congregation so much. That was about a 10-minute annual meeting. It doesn't get better than that in the Jewish world, I assure you. So thank you. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Rebecca. I'm going to have more to say in front of the open ark when I offer a blessing to you, Simon, and to you, Betty and Abby, and everyone else who is serving, has served, and our staff toward the end of the service. But for now, let's just take a moment, and I hope we can all feel what Sam and I, the father of our bat mitzvah, were talking about before the service, which is, simply put, Hine ma tov u'manai shevet achim gam yachad. How fortunate and blessed we are simply to be together, physically together. There is nothing ordinary about it. So before we begin, just take a moment and say hello to your neighbor in front of you, behind you, to your left, to your right, and wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Are all three B'nai Mitzvah families here? But I think they're over there. I think they're okay. All right. And one last request, please make sure your phone is off. Take a look at your phone and make sure it's off. We're going to have a beautiful, beautiful service tonight together. And as we so rarely can say here in Los Angeles, as the gentle rain falls outside, another blessing surrounding us for sure. Let's begin. You ready? Okay.
Cantor for joining me in those words that welcome us to this month of Elul as we prepare for the holy days that are approaching. And we say one thing: I ask of you, Adonai, to dwell in your house always. Those were those words that you heard. At this point, we're going to invite up our B'nai Mitzvah families. We are so excited that you are here celebrating with us this evening. So Sydney and Alexa and Henry, if you'll all come up with your families to help us light the Sabbath candles this evening.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik
Let's turn now to page 20, and we're going to sing L'chadodi. And many of you know that for the last verse, verse 9, we rise and we face the entrance to the synagogue and bow to welcome the Shabbat queen into our midst, the Sabbath bride. And I often think about the fact that this is happening all over the world in 1 hour increments 24 times across the globe. And I think of it like a stadium wave, in a sense, right? If you think about it, it's Jews all over the earth in this wave of welcoming Shabbat. And then it happens again as we do Havdalah and say goodbye to Shabbat. We're part of something beautiful all over the world. And we all, Jews, are welcoming Shabbat now into our hearts, into our beautiful families and our lives. L'chadodi, it's on page 20, and we're going to do, let me guess. I'm going to guess we're doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. No? Oh, my goodness. Must be a new year coming. What are we doing?
We're mixing it up.
What are we doing?
We're doing 1, 2, and 9 tonight.
Ah, we're skipping the 5.
3 cantors.
3 cantors.
3 verses.
Okay, makes sense to me.
Well, if we had 9 cantors, we could do all 9
Yes,
stanzas.
that's right.
But,
Verses 1, 2,
I don't
and
think
9,
Simon
everyone.
Fury would approve of that.
L'chadodi, page 20.
La 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 l'chadodi La 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 l'kakala La 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 b'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat l'kabel La 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 l'chadodi La 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 l'kakala La 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 b'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat l'kabel to greet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam besimcha, ובצהולה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה יא אליי אליי יא לה 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 לך דודי
For the Baruch Hu, page 28. Shema, page 34.
Start with a little meditation. There's 3 sounds. Make up that word Shema here. Shh. Join with me.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch
most of us can be seated, but if you are one of our B'nai Mitzvah, we're going to ask you to come on back up and to lead us in V'ahavta. The rest of us, let's please join together on page 36. Friends, thank you so much. Don't go far away because we'll call you back.
In just a moment, we're going to sing the Micha Mocha, which is on page 40, and most of us know this is our freedom song. This is the song our ancestors sang after crossing successfully from Egypt, from more than 40 decades of slavery into freedom. And I was thinking about freedom today because I was reading about the counteroffensive in Ukraine and how the entire world had bet against the people of Ukraine, gave them days to withstand the assault. And now, all these months later, they are fighting so hard to regain their freedom. And we take freedom for granted, and we often forget how hard sometimes we have to fight to protect our freedom. And we can all do that each in our own way. And I say each in our own way because of something really interesting about the grammar from which these words, Micha Mocha, the poem, the grammar in the poem from which these words of Micha Mocha come. The grammar changes from we or us to I. And in the same poem, and the rabbis say, how could that be? How could it be that we're all singing together and yet then it becomes I? And the answer is we each have our own way of expressing our gratitude to God for freedom and our own way to fight to protect our freedom and the freedom of others. I hope we'll give that a little bit of thought tonight, as there are people halfway around the globe fighting so hard for their freedom tonight. And as we in our own country must fight for ours and for the freedom of others too. Mi chamocha, page 40.
חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
As the evening begins to fall, we ask God to protect us under a shelter of peace.
Ufrosh aleinu sukkot אבותינו אבונו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Let's read the English on page 42. It's so beautiful, such an important reminder for us to be grateful. Driving here down Olympic, I watched, as many of you did, the homeless at bus stop shelters to stay dry and out of the rain, and counted my blessings and redoubled my conviction to help. So let's read together and count our blessings for our safety and good fortune. Page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Again, Alexa and Henry and Sydney to come on up. They're going to lead us in the Amidah, page 46. Everyone please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Hasei Avod Ve'imaot U'Mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ava Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magin Baruch atah Adonai Magin Abraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mecha Mechaye HaKol Ata Ra Lehoshia Mori Hata Mechakel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Derofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Vishenei Afar Bichamo Haba'al Givorot Umido Melach Melech Menim Umechayem Umasmi Al Yeshua V'ne'eman Ata Le'ayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayei HaKol.
We continue with silent prayer.
This is the point in our service when we sing the Mishaberach, this prayer, this healing prayer that we sing on behalf of the people we love who are ill. They may be very near, they may be far, far away. They may be suffering physically or emotionally. And of one thing I am certain, it really helps to know someone is praying for you. And it really helps to pray for someone you know. So if there's someone on whose behalf you'd like to sing the Mishaberach tonight, I'm going to ask you to just rise, and when I point to you, please then just mention the name or the names, and then we'll all join together in singing the Mishaberach, which you'll find in the middle of page 253. Before I call on names from the congregation, I want to mention the names of Nicole Alkov, Emily Blau, Merlot Gadushi, Levi Jonathan, Cindy Lederer, Michael Levy, Annette Pansky, Trevor Sangster, Charles Schwartz, Alan Soroti, and Helen Smurley. think everyone's in the perfect headspace now to express some very, very deep gratitude. It's now my honor to invite forward to receive a special blessing all of our current and former trustees of Wilshire Boulevard Temple. I'd like you to come on up, and everyone here who works for the temple to please come on up. We have our Naomi's here, our Rabbi Nanis, Rabbi Shapiro's here. Come on up onto the bima. Fern, come on up. Everybody come up. Rabbi Nickerson's here.
We can actually see you.
Yeah, come on up, everyone. Abby and Betty. Oh, yeah. Good. Also, we have former trustees of University Synagogue. Would you please come up also? Everybody, Rabbi Ashley, everybody come on up on the bima. It's a big bima. Come on. Let's face the ark. David, come on up. Move in. I had COVID like 6 weeks ago. I can't give it to you. Jody, come on up on the bima. Come on. No, up. Up. And, yeah. And I don't see his... There she is. Okay. All right. I don't think it's really possible to thank any of you with words. They're insufficient for the heart and the soul and the intellect and just the goodness that each of you brings to creating this really sacred and holy community that all of us are lucky enough to be a part of and to call our spiritual home. Most people, if you ask them, will say that the Torah is full of lofty spiritual teachings and ideals, which is partially true. But mostly, Torah is actually about the details. This week's parashah has laws in it about safety protocols, fencing, building codes, restroom maintenance and procedures, finance, and the ethics of borrowing and lending, what to do with a rebellious child, membership policies. How do we welcome a family that's different than other families? This is Torah, which means that every one of you is engaged in Torah. Because every one of you who is a trustee and every one of you who helps to serve this community, we are down in the muck of it. And the sacred is down in the muck of it. The details, the things that seem so low, but without them, it's impossible to lift people up. Torah portion this week also talks about our obligation to our neighbors who are different than we. So I want to thank you. I really want to thank you for being down in the thick of it, the weeds, the muck, the stuff at the bottom of the drain after you rinse the dishes. I want to thank you for reaching down in there and pulling it out. Because that's what it means to serve the Jewish people. It's a humble thing. And it's a very beautiful thing. So I want to invite our three cantors here. We've got Cantor Gurney, Cantor Peacock, Cantor Shapiro, come on up here. And Rabbi Nanis, Rabbi Nickerson, Rabbi Eshel, come on up here. And Shapiro, Rabbi Shapiro in the back there, come on up here. Because I want you to be a part of this. And before we bless all of you, a special word to Simon. And Simon is, he's a humble person and he doesn't like a lot of attention. But I don't think there's anyone who's been in the thicket of it all these past 3 years like Simon. To guide a congregation fiscally through the most challenging time in a century, and to do it without panic, without scarcity thinking, without abundancy thinking either, with the steadiest of hands, as if he had somehow been through something like this before, although none of us have. Countless hours and days and weeks and months and years. The muck of it all. And here we are, a healthy, growing congregation. Thank you, Simon. Thank you. And a couple words about Abby and Betty. You may not have realized it, but the merger, all of the communications about the merger, all the nuances, all the ways we tried to encourage and not to offend, had Abby's fingerprints all over it. To feel something is one thing. To be able to communicate it is quite another. And your touch is all over this community already. And we thank you for that, and we welcome you now to the Board of Trustees. And where's Betty? There you are. I have relied on Betty's advice for more than 30 years. She is a consummate educator and loves this temple down to the marrow of her bones. And we are so fortunate to have you now as a trustee of our congregation, so that not just I, but all of us can look to you as our North Star when it comes to doing right by our children. And finally to Scott, who I promised would have an easy time of it as president of the congregation. Someday. And you know, the thing is that he has had an easy time of it. And what I mean by that is, what a steady, steady hand. I don't know if it makes you nervous or anxious, Scott, but the fact that I don't know says everything about you. It really does. You are really a humble servant of God and the Jewish people and of this temple. And I and we are all so grateful to you. Thank you. And to my fellow rabbis and educators and cantors and administrators and We got a lot of associate executive directors up here. And a former song leader. And I was going in for the kill, dude. And that side of things, headed by Donna, who wakes up in the morning thinking about this congregation, thinks about it all day, and goes to bed at night thinking about this congregation. And it shows. It shows. Because it's a strong and beautiful congregation. Because you're a strong leader who really cares. And I wish I had the time, because I could say as much to each and every one of you for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do for the Jewish people through this great temple. And I'll end where I began and then leave it to the Cantors and the rabbis to bless you. The word Jew, Yehudi, comes from the word for gratitude, for thank you. To be a Jew is to be grateful, to count our blessings. And all of us here, and I, we count you as our blessings. And it's an honor now for us to bless you.
May God bless you and always watch over you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine on you and comfort you.
Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom v'yasem lecha shalom shalom shalom.
May you always know that God is close, and may God grant you peace. Amen.
Okay, a couple more things, a couple more blessings to count. If you are the spouse of someone who was just on the bima, would you please stand up for a moment? I'm serious. If you are the spouse of someone who was just on the bima, please stand up, because we thank you for sharing them with us. All right. Now, this is our celebration Shabbat. Every month we count our blessings. And so I'm going to ask you to stand now if you, during this month of, let's say, Elul, let's make it simple. if during this month of September you are celebrating an anniversary, please stand up. Anniversary? Come on. How many years, Betty, Ross? 45. 45. Naomi? Anniversary? Naomi, did you stand up for an anniversary? Come on. How many years? 1 year. Mazel tov. Ross and Betty can tell you the first 45 are the hardest. And after that, smooth. Okay, I want you to stay standing, you three. If you are celebrating a birthday in September, please stand up. Nice. Okay. Where? Paul, 64? Okay. We'll still love you. Don't you worry. Cantor Gurney?
Yes. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact. You're all invited to the Glazer Sanctuary. The auditors will be here.
I won't ask. Oh, I do want to ask one person what birthday it is. How old are you going to be? 4 years old. Congratulations. Where's Sherry Lauterbach? Where are you, Sherry? Anniversary, how many years? 44. Nice. The first 45 are the hardest. Hang in there. It's going to be okay. Okay. Anybody have a new job this month? Anybody have a new baby? Grandparents? Parents? You don't want to stand up? Okay. Let's see. Anybody? What else can we celebrate? Oh, of course. It is that time. Who has started a new school? If you started a new school, stand up if you started a new school. Oh, we're so happy. Congratulations. How about if you have a child or a grandchild who started a new school? Raise your hand. Come on, stand up. We're proud of you. They didn't get there without you. That's for sure. All right, now everybody who just stood, stand again. Everybody who was up for one of those things, please stand up because we want to sing a Shehecheyanu together with you. Are we ready?
We're ready.
Hit it. In fact, let's all stand up because we're all blessed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh
Please be seated. Just everyone, quick announcements. There's going to be a beautiful oneg in the back of the chapel immediately after we have our B'nai Mitzvah and their families do Kiddush and Motzi and lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. If you haven't received, well, I better read this word for word, or I'm going to hear from Jody after the service. I'm going to read it word for word. We are getting ready for the High Holy Days.
Wait, we are?
Just a reminder to renew your membership if you have not already done so. The links to register for services have gone out to the entire Wilshire Boulevard Temple member community. Don't forget to register for your services so that you will eventually receive your tickets. Anything to add, Jody? Okay, thank you. And I also want to, in advance, thank Mitch Dorff. Mitch, where are you? There he is. And Max, too? Are you coming up, Max? Great. We've got the dynamic duo back together again. We have the greatest shofar blowers in the world. We really do. And it's customary during the month of Elul to hear the shofar every day in the synagogue to remind us that it's time to turn inward and examine ourselves, our lives, and the world in which we live. So we're going to hear the shofar from Max and from Mitch after we finish Mourner's Kaddish. And now we enter into moments of Kaddish. And in just a moment, I'm going to read first the names of the loved ones of our congregation who have died during this Shloshim, this past 30 days, followed by the names of those whose yortzites, the anniversary of whose deaths, were commemorated during this past week. If those of you who are here for Shloshim or yortzite, if you would please rise now, and then I'll read all of the names, and then the rest of us will rise with you and join together in the Kaddish, which you'll find on page 294. So we begin first with the names of those who have died during this Shloshim, this past 30 days. Micah Beisel, Parvez Danielpour, Shirley Catone, and Hain Hufan. We mention also the names of those whose yortzites were commemorated during this past week. Marietta Bach, Sylvia Band, Gordon Bodick, Francis Broidy, William Chazen, Ruth Cheslaw, Lawrence Chiswick, Raphael Cohen, Beverly Cooperman, Joshua Davidow, Joe Eimer, Steve Elkinen, Ruth Epstein, Ben Evans, David Flansbaum, Barbara Flicker, Elsie Fogelman, Pauline Foreman, Selma Freed, Fred First, Ethel Geffner, Larry Gershman, Miriam Goldberg, Glenn Goldstein, Grace Gottlieb, Jean Gould, Irving Grauer, Gloria Gray, Paul Hunter, Rabbi Joseph Hurwitz, Winnie Kaltman, Zev Karkomi, Jack Caston, Russell Kavanaugh, John Kim, Preston Klein, Rosalind Krasnow, Irene Krell, Hugo Kren, Carol Lee Landsberg, Lisa Beth Laxer, Michael Lerner, Lena Levitch, Helen Levin, Barbara Lewis, Howard Lynn, Saeed Makani, Daniel Mandel, Larissa Moravina, Seymour Nadelman, Phil Pacholski, Leah Phillips, Stephen Plager, Leslie Pollock, Alex Ratmansky, Molly Becker-Redmond, James Rhodes, Michael Robbins, Carl Rosen, Ruth Rosen, Stephen Rubenstein, Loretta Safro, Margit Schoenberg, Pascal Schwartz, Leah Serlin, Eric Shannon, Leon Sharp, Mendel Shohan, Emmanuel Sigaloff, Philip Silver, Jacob Silverstein, Millicent Small, Lucille Small, Ann Spielberg, Jonathan Spound, Sylvia Stock, Aaron Tarr, Shirley Turtle, Heike Walensky, Shirley Wind, Gordon Wintrub, and Florence Zucker. Are there any other names to add to Kaddish? We also call to mind those we do not know, but to whom we are deeply, deeply grateful. Those who have died defending the United States of America and the state of Israel. The innocent victims of senseless war and tragedy all over the world. And everyone who has no one to say Kaddish for them. We take them all as our own. So we all rise together now and join together in Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael b'agala uv'izman kari v'imaru Yehe shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'almei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma v'imaru Yehe shalom rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imaru Oseh shalom bimromav Uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen.
Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Tiyah. Shvarim Turuah. Tekiah.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
shalom.
I want to invite our B'nai Mitzvah forward. Please don't go anywhere yet. B'nai Mitzvah and your families, please come on up to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. And also, the Babrick dinner is now upstairs in this building, not outside, for obvious reasons. So the whole Babrick clan, you'll just head up the stairs. Where's Henry? Come on up here with your family.
Come here, Sydney.
Sydney, there you go. Right in front. Congratulations.
Okay, we raise our glasses, B'nai Mitzvah, as you lead us in the Kiddush. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav V'ratzav b'nu Shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit Kihu yom techilah lemikrai kodesh ze'eres le'inat Mitzrayim Kivan
Take a sip, L'chaim. Tell your family on one. It's grape juice, I promise. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam Hashmotzi lechem min haaretz.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Please join us in the back for our